Hello and welcome to, I guess, my first ever tutorial. I don't know if this goes well, we'll make more of these, but yes, today what we're gonna do is I'm gonna try and make an auto sorter system which can be a really easy thing to make once you understand it, but then haven't seen any tutorials on YouTube which actually explain why this thing works. So I'm gonna try to do that, but while being as short and concise as possible. Right. So let's start by placing down a bunch of double chests, and I don't say a bunch, I mean seven. So it's one, two, three, 4, 5, 6, and 7. The reason why we're placing only 7 and why we can place in 7 in one module is because the water which we're going to use as our water flowing as this flowing system for the items, it can flow a maximum of 7 blocks, right? So if I place, let's say I place water here, right? So it'll flow into 7 blocks in every single direction, and so because of that you can only place, you know 7 of these in one module. That is it. Then we place the hoppers inside, going into the chest. Then we place yet another row of hoppers. Interesting property of hoppers is it will always pull from above before it transmits it horizontally. So if there's this hopper and then there's this hopper, so every single item will first be pulled in by this hopper, which will then go into this chest. So that way we can make sure that this double chest is filled up first and then this one gets filled. And what we need to do next is leave one block of area here and start placing your favored block. Like this could be any block, it doesn't matter, except I think glass. I don't think you can put glass here, but any solid block works. What we need to do after that is to place redstone torches on the side of this block. Now make sure it's on the side, not on the ground here. It's very important that you make it's on the side, because what happens is this, wherever it is, pointing towards this flame, that is where it will lock. So what this thing will do is, because it's pointing this way, it's going to lock this hopper. So what happens is when I place this here, this redstone torch is powering this block, right? So now if I place this in here, it's locked, it's not going to go away. I remove this, there you go. So that's why it's important that we do this and make sure it's placed here, not on the ground. Right. Once you have placed all of this in, again we leave one block space and we make another row of this. In between this space that we have left, we put in repeaters. Now make sure the repeaters are facing into the redstone torch, not away from it. The reason for that is simple, that a repeater will take an input from here and give an output out this side, right? So if you have placed it this way, it doesn't work, because this is supposed to be the output, not the input. Hence we have to place it this way. I know that might not have made a lot of sense, but I guess you can understand it. Moving on, you fill this in and you fill this one in and you also fill this one in. So by now you should have something that kinda looks like this. We have all the redstone torches in place, we have all the repeaters in place, we have like a T section over here, and then we have one block behind it. Next, what you want to do is you want to place a lot of comparators going this way. Now make sure you've placed them this way, not this way, purely because, see, the next step is this hopper goes inside the comparator, right? So we can't have it this way, because this is the input for the comparator and that's the output. So we need this hopper to be on the we need this comparator to have this hopper on the input side, not the output side. So make sure that these comparators have been placed this way, and like I said already, the next step is placing these hoppers into this. Now you want to shift click, look exactly on the border of this tiny edge here, and you want to place them, because if you look somewhere else, it's going to end up here and it's just awful. So yeah, you want to place them here. Now to make sure is this nozzle comes out into the comparator. Make sure it does not go inside this, because this would be wrong and you'll be easily able to spot that. As you see, this one's going in, this one's wrong. So make sure your hopper is going into the comparator, right? And now once you're done with this, make sure that every single one of them is going into the comparator, otherwise your system will be broken. and you don't want that after all this work. Right, once you're done with that, it's a simple matter of just placing the redstone dust everywhere else. And once this whole system is complete, of course, I'll explain as to why have we done whatever it is that we have done. You can cover this area up with any, block. Make sure you don't cover the area on top of the hoppers, of course. This is where the water stream will go and the water will start flowing around here and will stop here. If I might show a quick demo, there you go. Water flows, water does not flow out of it, and if I place, let's say, one glass in here, the water starts flowing and it goes inside this. Alright? Lovely. So this is practically the auto sorter system is done, except like, okay, maybe one more thing. So what we need is to put in these and take one stack of anything, it doesn't matter what it is. Say we'll take stone, put that in, right? You add it, you rename it to something. I usually put it as filter, and you take that out. And inside this hopper, the topmost hopper, make sure it's the hopper which is going into the comparator. Inside of that, you place 1, 2, 3, and 4 of these. And make sure this place is empty. Put in 4 of these and repeat that for every single hopper on top of it, right? So that means this comparators should be lit up. Now it will be a little bit easier for me to explain as to why is this happening, right? So let's see. If you have noticed, look at the redstone here, right? This redstone is active, it's emitting. This signal is catching up with this. However, this signal is very weak, so it is going to go for only one block, right? This line of redstone, that's not active. And now, for example, if I place in one more here, right? Still not active. But if I place in 64 of this line gets active and this line gets active as well, right? I'll show you one more thing. As it goes to 41, this redstone line is no longer active, but this one still is. So essentially what's happening is, inside of this hopper, because of the comparator which is detecting the signal and emitting it outwards, what happens is once we are over at this number of items, 41 plus 4, that's 45 items, the signal strength goes down to only 2. It doesn't go down to 3, which is why this redstone is not powered. What that redstone is doing is that is powering, alright, I should have probably done it with this one, let's say 64, right? So it will power this repeater which we have placed in here, which will depower the torch, which will unlock this hopper. Do you get that? Now, since this hopper is locked currently, no matter what I put inside it, it's not gonna go down. It's not gonna go anywhere. It's not gonna go inside this chest. It's not gonna go inside this hopper. Nothing. Because this hopper is completely locked. Because this torch is locking this hopper. Now, as soon as I place in more items, this torch is no longer locking this hopper. And so, this hopper is giving out items. Get it? That's it. That's how simple it is. That's the basis on which it works. It's 1 signal strength without any items in it. It's 2 signal strength with 45 items in it. And it's 3 signal strength with any more than 45 items in it. So this is your hopper locking system into place. Now, what happens is you want water flowing through here so that the items that go inside this go all over through these hoppers, and whenever there is a matching item, so for example, because this hopper is locked with anvils, if I place, let's say, a few redstone torches on it, it's not going to be collected by this hopper, right? Because there is no space for this hopper to collect any more items. It's all locked. And so, because of the water stream, all of these items are going to flow through, and wherever the correct item is, only that hopper will carry it inside. Now, how do we make that thing happen? Well, it's easy. Actually, that circuit is also easy. you place a dropper, right? You want that dropper to spit out items. Whenever it does, it will throw the items through here, which will then be flowing through this water stream and go into their respective areas. But how to make sure that that the dropper is going to spit items, right? So what we do is we add in a comparator inside here, right? Nope, I think this way. There you go. So this, whenever there's items inside it, this comparator will see that there are items inside of this dropper and will emit a signal. Now, even if there's 64 of them, there is a signal, and even if there's only one of them, there's a signal. Only difference is, look at that. The signal is only one block strong. Now, if there were 64 of them in it, it's 2 blocks strong. But that means whenever there'll be fewer items, there'll be an issue. So what do? Is we add a repeater. What a repeater does is essentially it will, oops, not here, sorry. Right, what a repeater does is it will magnify the signal strength which comes out from here to 15. A redstone dust can have a maximum signal of 15, right? So it will magnify that to 15, and that way we can have a perfect signal going around, right? So for example, now if I put 64 of these in here, there you go. See that? But then items are flowing ahead, items are flowing above it, right? So we add in one more layer of it. And then for symmetry, we add in one more layer on this side, and we completely cover this area up. Don't have to, but we can. So we completely cover this area up. Another issue that you may or may not have noticed with it is that was very, very fast, because one hopper can only take in one item at a time, more or less right now. So that issue is, once there's an item being pulled into this hopper, yeah. So let me just show you, because that is what must have happened. There you go. There's anvils in here, right? There's anvils in here. That's why they didn't grow further. But believe me, if there weren't anvils here, there would have been anvils in this one and this one as well, because that thing was very fast. So what we do is we add in a delay. We add this to a 2-tick delay, and there you go. This time it's very slow. So all the items are going to go through there, and they're going to flow in, and they generally won't have any issues whatsoever. And just to make sure nothing else happens, there you go. Voila. So there is no chance of any item getting lost anywhere else. The items will flow out of the dropper, go inside this, and go through here. Now you don't have to, place items into a dropper. Instead, you could just place a hopper here, and we can put in a chest here, or a double chest. And well, again, you can just, make this as tall as possible. You want one more layer up there, you want yet another layer up there, feel free to add as many of them as you want. I'll pull the items from in here. Say we go through here, they go through here, they go through here, go into the dropper, and voila. So that's it. That's actually it. And if you don't want to do that, you could easily just leave all of this, and you can place your shulker boxes on top of this if that's what you have. This is easily expandable. All we had to do was we added in one blue ice or packed ice, whichever you prefer. Of course, I would recommend not putting in normal ice, but you can put in a blue or packed ice, and we add a signboard on top of it, of course, because that will prevent the water source which we have placed over here. You have a water source here that flows for 7 blocks. So make sure, yes, one more thing that's important is make sure this module is 8 long, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You have to make this 8 long because water flows for 7 blocks. So over here we had the flowing water of 7 blocks because the water source was over here, right? So the first module needs to be 7 blocks. Every other module has to be 8 blocks. And it's the same thing that we have done over here. We repeated it here. This can go on for as long as you want, and you can also make a turn over here. All I've done is, in order to say I throw in this much glass here, it flows through here and it flows the other way, and it can go on forever you want it. And this can be your output chest for the items which you have kept which are not in your storage system. All of them end up inside a chest over here, so that way, even by chance, let's say your machine is a little bit too fast, generally I keep it at 2 ticks. If you want, you can always keep it at 3 ticks as well. That will make sure 100% that nothing goes wrong, but that'll be a bit too slow, so instead I prefer to have it at 2 ticks. And yeah, that's it. That's the system altogether. I hope, instead of just being able to make it, you understood why this thing works. And if you did, then please like, share and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, it really helps me out. And if there is any other contraption or anything that you would like me to explain, then definitely go ahead and let me know, and I'll try my best. Go ahead, type it down in the comments, and I'll try my best to make a video about it. Also, yeah, if you have any doubts regarding this, as in you didn't understand something, feel free to write that in the comments as well, and I'll try my best to explain it to you. And until the next time, that's goodbye.